You are smarter than your boss and poorer than your boss. Another book will not fix that. 4,000 hours of business content. Nothing that pays you while you sleep. The content was the product. You were the crop. Smart men are the most profitable audience on earth. They never stop preparing, so they never stop buying. And somewhere across town tonight, a dumber man is signing for a second house with money your thinking earned him. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly whose account your intelligence has been landing in. And once you have seen it, the reading stops working as a comfort. Forever. Your mind already built someone else's fortune. Point it at your own. Let's start with money, because money is the only scoreboard that has ever been honest with you. You have a number. It sits in an app on your phone, and it has barely moved in 3 years. And you have watched men with half your reading, half your vocabulary, and none of your patience blow past that number without visible effort. You have explained it to yourself. You told yourself they got lucky. You told yourself they cut corners. You told yourself the world rewards the loud and punishes the deep. You have built a cathedral of explanations, and it is the finest thing you own. You cannot sell it. So here is the mechanism, cold, with no comfort in it. The market has never once paid for intelligence. It pays for ownership. Your intelligence is an input, the same as steel, the same as electricity, the same as a delivery truck. Inputs get purchased. Owners get paid. The smartest man in the building is a line on the building's expense sheet, and expense lines get cut in the bad quarters while ownership collects in every quarter, including the bad ones. That's the whole trick. That's all of it. There is no second layer. You were never underpaid for being brilliant. You were paid precisely what an input is worth. Economists at Ohio State ran this in 2007. They tracked roughly 7,400 Americans across years of their lives and matched intelligence scores against income, against net worth, against financial distress. Each point of IQ pushed annual income up by a few $100s. Net worth, no relationship. And the smarter group was more likely to be carrying maxed-out cards and missed payments than the men they would have privately called mediocre. Hear that again. Your intelligence moved a number on your employer's cost base and left your own column exactly where it was. It bought you a better cage and a worse credit card. Your brain has been running at full output for a decade. Somebody has been collecting. Name the asset you built that has another man's name on it. One word. Right now. Now understand how they got you, because you were not ambushed. You were trained. 20 years of school taught you that being right is the thing that gets rewarded. Raise your hand, give the answer, wait for the grade. It worked. You were good at it, better than nearly everyone in the room. And every gold star confirmed the same lesson. Someone else sets the question, you supply the answer, and a superior decides what it was worth. 2 decades of employee training with a graduation gown at the end, and a diploma certifying that you follow instructions faster than the other applicants. Nobody in that building ever asked you the only question that produces wealth. Who owns this? So you graduated with a perfectly sharpened tool and no idea that tools get sold. I know a man like this. 41. 2 engineering degrees. He can walk a manufacturing floor and tell you inside 20 minutes where 600 grand a year is leaking out of it. He did exactly that in 2019 for the company that employed him. He found the leak, built the fix, wrote the documentation, trained the plant. They gave him a plaque, a $5,000 bonus, and a photograph on the wall by the vending machine. The fix has saved 8 figures. He still parks in the far lot because the close spaces are reserved. He keeps a spreadsheet that models his retirement at 67, and he is proud of the formulas in it. He built a machine that prints money and negotiated for a plaque. The salary cage was only the first bar. 40 years is the sentence. The pension is the parole hearing. Retirement is the fiction they sell you so the line keeps moving. And the retirement fiction is aimed specifically at men like you. Because a smart man will accept a terrible deal indefinitely as long as you let him understand it. He does not need it to be fair, he needs it to be logical. Give an intelligent man a spreadsheet that proves his cage is optimal, and he will polish the bars himself. The rat race was never designed for stupid people. Stupid people quit. It was built to keep the capable manageable. And it works on you through comfort, which is the only weapon that has ever beaten a man like you. Your intelligence buys you a life that is tolerable. The salary arrives, the card clears, the apartment is warm, the car starts. Nothing in your life is bad enough to force a decision, and so you never make one. That's the comfort tax. Stupid men get evicted and go to war. You get a raise and go quiet. Then the debt cycle finishes the job. The better job funds the bigger mortgage. The bigger mortgage demands the better job. Every increase in your intelligence's market price gets converted within about 90 days into a new obligation that makes you less free than you were before the raise. You are the only animal on earth that grows a stronger jaw and uses it to bite down harder on the leash. Here's the part that will sting. You are not being beaten by superior men. The man who signs your check is, on the whole, a plain man. Ordinary vocabulary, ordinary insight. He has never in his life had the thought you had in the shower this morning. What he holds is one thing you do not. He owns the container that your thinking gets poured into. Every idea you have ever had at that company, every fix, every efficiency, every insight that made the room go quiet for 2 seconds, was a deposit into an account with his name on it. Nobody outsmarted you. They harvested you. And you cooperate because the harvest arrives dressed as recognition. That's your enemy. Not the system, not the economy. Him. The man who hires you for your mind so that he never has to share what your mind builds. He does not fear your intelligence. He depends on it. Exactly one thing would alarm him. The day you stop explaining and start owning. Machiavelli watched this run in Florence 500 years ago. The advisor is kept close, fed well, praised in public, and never armed. A prince rewards brilliance loudly because a well-fed advisor never asks for the throne. Recognition is the cheapest currency a powerful man can print, and it buys the most obedient people in the building. Your plaque was printed money. So let's get to the mechanics. 7 of them. Everyone attacks a reflex your intelligence installed in you, and everyone is worth more to you than another degree. 1. Stop proving, start metering. The smart man's deepest hunger is to be understood. He wants the room to see it. That hunger is the most expensive thing he owns. In 1901, Nikola Tesla stood on the dunes at Shoreham with $150,000 of J.P. Morgan's money and a tower rising behind him. He promised power through the air, free to anyone, anywhere. Morgan could never get an answer to a single question. Where does the meter go? The check stopped, the tower was sold for scrap, and the greatest mind of the century died in a rented room, feeding pigeons, owing money. Tesla built the future. Morgan built the toll booth. Being understood is free. Being needed is billable. So take the thing you know and put a gate in front of it. A price, a license, a subscription, a percentage of what it produces. The gate is the business. The genius is only what stands behind it. And you have exactly one moment of leverage in your entire working life. The moment before you deliver, not the moment after. After you hand it over, you are a man asking for gratitude. Before you hand it over, you are a man holding a key. Smart men hand over the key and then start negotiating. But a toll booth only pays if the road keeps running when you walk away from it. And that is where intelligent men bleed out. 2. Build the dumbest system that works. An intelligent man builds elegant, intricate, beautiful machines, and then discovers he is the only living person who can operate one. He built himself a job and hired himself into it at a discount. An asset is something a stranger can run on a Tuesday while you are on a plane. If it needs your judgment, it needs your presence. If it needs your presence, you have rebuilt the cage with better wallpaper and a nicer view. Complexity is a tax intelligent men pay for the pleasure of feeling irreplaceable. Irreplaceable is a synonym for trapped. Look at the difference in the real world. A consultancy full of clever men bills by the hour and dies the day the clever men take a vacation. Software does the same job while everyone sleeps. One is a job with a logo, the other is a machine with an owner. Build it dumb. Write it down. Hand it to somebody who does not think like you, and watch whether it survives without you. If it dies, it was never wealth. It was a hobby with your name on it. Run the test this month. Take the thing you do best and try to describe it on a single page. Plain sentences, no cleverness. The way you would explain it to a bored teenager who wants to go home. If you cannot get it onto that page, you do not own a business. You own a talent, and talents die with the man who has them. The next trap is worse because they gave you medals for walking into it. 3. Take a piece. Peter Thiel spent his 20s on the credentialed conveyor belt. Stanford Law, a federal clerkship, 1 interview away from the Supreme Court. He lost that interview. The men who beat him are still billing hours in the same city. Thiel built PayPal, then handed $500,000 to a college kid with a website and took a slice of the company. A slice that later paid him roughly $1 billion. Every hour those other men billed died the moment they billed it. Thiel's slice kept paying him while he slept. Here is the mechanic, and you can run it on Monday morning without quitting anything. Every time you fix something expensive inside that company, a window opens. It stays open only until you hand the fix over. Inside that window, your intelligence can be converted into a claim. A percentage of what it saves, a royalty on what it produces, points in the thing you're building, a fee priced against the number instead of against the clock. Smart men hand the fix over first and negotiate second. That's a thank you note with a signature line. He will probably say no. Take the no. It is the most valuable data you have refused to collect for 10 years. It prices your mind to the dollar, and it tells you whose name will be on everything you build inside that building until the day you walk out of it. Then you build the thing outside, and you sell it back to men like him. A wage stops the second the work stops. A claim collects while you sleep, while you eat, while you're gone. Name the last thing you fixed for free. One word. Asking for a piece costs something you have been spending recklessly for 20 years. Credibility. And you burn it one correction at a time. 4. Win the deal. Lose the argument. You correct people. It is automatic. Somebody says something imprecise and your mouth opens before your interest does. Every correction is a withdrawal. You spend credibility to purchase the feeling of being right, the cheapest, most useless product on the market, and you buy it in bulk. Bernard Baruch made a fortune on Wall Street and made it quietly. He kept his positions to himself, kept his mouth closed in rooms full of men who could not, and got out of the market before the 1929 crash, while the loudest, most brilliant voices in New York explained why he was wrong. The men who won every argument that year lost every dollar they had. Silence is a position. Take it. Let the client be wrong. Let the partner have the last word. Let the fool believe he taught you something. Then take the contract, the equity, the ground, and let him keep the argument he won. He'll be telling that story for years, right up until the day he works for you. 5. Own the pipe, not the paper. You have been producing your entire adult life. Comments, threads, posts, answers. Insight after insight, delivered free on land you do not own to an audience that is not yours, on a platform that will rewrite its rules on a Thursday and erase 10 years of your work by Friday. The Federal Reserve's 2022 survey of American families put roughly 2/3 of all household wealth in the hands of the top 10%. And the higher you climb that list, the more of that wealth sits in business equity instead of paychecks. Ownership at the top, wages at the bottom. Those are the government's own numbers collected on the men in your neighborhood. Here's how it works in my own hands. This video was recorded once, and it works for years without me. That's the entire difference between a wage and an asset. The only question is which of the two you are building tonight. So own the pipe, the list, the channel, the storefront, the direct line to the customer that no platform can revoke and no employer can confiscate. Everything else is content you have donated to a landlord. And speed decides who ends up holding that pipe, because the man who arrives first owns the road the rest of you have to walk on. 6. Ship at 70%. The intelligent man's delay wears a disguise, and the disguise is rigor. He is researching. He is waiting for clarity. He has a folder of business plans, 19 browser tabs, and a perfectly accurate map of a country he has never once entered. The market does not grade your model. It grades what you put in front of it. So ship at 70%. The remaining 30 will be corrected inside a month by paying customers, and they will do it better than your best thinking, because they are the ones holding the money. Their complaints are free consulting from the only people whose opinion has ever mattered. Every month you spend perfecting, a dumber man spends collecting. He will be wrong about 6 things and right about the one that pays. He was in the market and you were in the library. Speed, silence, ownership, systems. Every one of those can be learned in a month, and none of them will save you from the last enemy, because the last enemy sits closer than the market and closer than the man who signs your check. It's the story you tell yourself about why you deserve more. There is only one cure for that story, and it is standing in a parking lot in California. San Bernardino, California, 1954. A 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman with a bad back stands in a parking lot at 11 in the morning, watching a line of customers wrap around a small hamburger stand. He sells his machines 8 at a time to nobody. This place ordered 8 at once. He drove across the country to find out why. Inside, 2 brothers have engineered something genuinely brilliant. A kitchen laid out like a factory floor, timed to the second. No car hops, no waiting, no waste. Real innovation. The smartest men in this story by a mile. They own 2 restaurants, and they want a quiet life. The salesman has no invention, no education, no capital, and a mortgage on his house. What he has is one question the brothers never thought to ask. Who owns the land the restaurant sits on? His finance man told him plainly that hamburgers would never make him rich. The ground under every franchise would. So he built the company that bought and leased the real estate first, and rented it to the franchisees second. Burgers were the traffic. Land was the toll. By 1961, Ray Kroc handed the brothers $2.7 million for the whole thing. They kept their original restaurant and lost the right to put their own name on it. He opened a McDonald's down the street and buried them with it. The brothers were the geniuses. They got a check. The salesman got the system. He did not beat them by being smarter. He beat them by asking who owned the ground, and then owning it. Every genius who has ever gone broke went broke standing on another man's land. All of that stays theory until Wednesday. So here is the move. It costs you 2 evenings. Tonight, write down the last 3 problems you solved that made or saved somebody real money. Skip the interesting ones, take the expensive ones. Put a number beside each, circle the biggest. That number is your product. It already exists. You have been giving it away as a personality trait. Tomorrow, find 10 companies with that exact problem that do not employ you. You have known who they are for years. Send 5 emails, 3 lines each. No resume, no theory, no credentials. Name the problem. Name the number. Offer to take a cut of it. Price it against the number. Never against the hour. A man who bills hours rents himself out by the day. A man who takes a cut owns a piece of the outcome, and he keeps owning it long after he stops paying attention to it. 2 weeks from tonight, one of 2 things is true. Either you are holding the first customer of the first asset you have ever owned in your life, or you are holding written proof that the thing you're proudest of is worth nothing outside his building. Both of those answers are worth more than every book you will read this year. Enough history. Let's talk about you. You already knew most of this. That's the horror of your position. You will agree with every line of this video, and on Monday you will drive back to the far lot and park there anyway. You are not broke from ignorance. You have never been broke from ignorance. Here's what your comfort costs in the plain numbers you're so good at. You're 38. Your title is long enough to sound like something. $94,000 a year, and after the mortgage, the car, the daycare, the insurance and the groceries, there's maybe $400 left at the end of the month. Some months you save it. There is a book on your nightstand about starting a business, and you are on page 61. And you have been on page 61 since March. In your head, there is a stack of ideas worth more than the house you are financing. You will die with that stack, and you know precisely how this ends, because you have already met the man you are becoming. He is 56. He works down the hall. He is the sharpest man in the department. He has been passed over twice, and he explains both times with total accuracy to anyone who will sit still. He is right about everything, and he owns nothing, and the young men have started smiling at him the way you smile at weather. You have maybe 8 good years before the door closes. He had 8, too. He spent them explaining. So answer one question and answer it honestly, because there is nobody in this room but you. If your intelligence was ever going to make you rich, where is it? 10 years of being the smartest man in the room. Show me the account. And now look at the deal you actually signed, stated in the language nobody used when they sold it to you. You hand over 5 days, they hand back 2. You repeat that for 40 years, and if your body survives it, They return a reduced portion of your own money at an age when your knees are finished and your ambition is a photograph on a shelf. You took that deal because it was explained to you by people you respected, and because refusing it would have required you to be bad at something in public. That's the curse of the smart man in one sentence. You would rather be broke and correct than rich and clumsy. So choose. There are two men standing here, and only one of them walks out. The first one keeps his edge. He wins every argument, reads every book, stays the sharpest man in every room he enters, and dies certain the world failed to recognize him, leaving behind a spreadsheet with beautiful formulas and nothing in the final column. The second is a man who is about to be bad at something. Badly, publicly, unglamorously bad, and he will own the thing he is bad at. 5 years from now he will be clumsy, wealthy and free, and men like the first one will stand in a break room explaining his luck to each other. You have been the first man for a decade. The second one is available tonight. Your mind already built someone else's fortune. Point it at your own. If that landed somewhere you can't undo, leave one word below. Ground. I'll know exactly what you mean. So will the men who don't. Most men who watched this will feel the click, nod once, and go back to being the smartest man in another man's company. That nod is the filter. It costs them nothing, and it sorts them permanently. You can feel something moving right now, and it will be gone by breakfast. An intelligent man rationalizes anything by breakfast, and you are better at it than most. So take the 3 seconds. Subscribe. It's the cheapest way a man can mark which side of that sort he stands on, and it commits you to nothing except hearing the next thing before the men who hesitated do. Everything in this video happened to dead men. What comes next is aimed at the living, at the seat you are sitting in right now, with the leverage you already hold. The grey eminence was never about admiration. It is a way of seeing who holds the ground, and who is merely standing on it. If you can see it now, you were never the audience here. You were the man they kept away from the table. Your mind already built someone else's fortune. Point it at your own.